Howdy, howdy, it's your old pal, Tiki the Hut. Welcome to another Too Late Tonight with Tiki, where I do a paint and chat. I'm excited to actually kit bashed a 500 point demo army for Konflikt 47. And this is a German army, but they're going to be painted and modeled as the cult of Imhotep from the Mummy movies. So kind of just going down the list of models. First is going to be the what's going to be counting as the second lieutenant, and that's going to be a Nox and a Moon herself. Pretty cool model. It's a metal D&D model I had lying around. I think like a evil Jasmine or something like that. So I kind of put a assault rifle in her hand to give her some ammo pouches in the back, and then boom, second lieutenant. For the adjutant, I picked like a librarian, like a cult leader. So he's gonna have the Book of Death in one hand. He's gonna have the Book of Life there on his belt, and he's also carrying an assault rifle. You can see it has this little fez on top, you know, and an ammo pouch in the back. This is built out of a Frostgrave wizard box. That's where most of these pieces came from. Instead of Totencore, I'm actually doing mummies. So they have 6 mummies. These are like the Imhotep priests that he brought back with him. And for the 10 riflemen, these are just random cultists. So the NCO has like a fez, and he has an SMG in the back. For these troops, they were built using Wargame Atlantic, the French, the Great War, and the Afghan Warrior box. So you can tell I'm kind of going for the almost like that thuggy kind of look from Indiana Jones. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, it's 6 riflemen. The 7th rifleman has the Panzerfaust, and then there's the machine gun crew. So here's the machine gun team. And then here's his AG. You can tell his AG. He's also got that big backpack. He's got an ammo can, and he's also got his bipod. And Le Pied de Resistance. This is kind of funny. So this is the Panther X. An absolutely awesome kit by Warlord. So when you get it, you get the regular Panther box. You get an actual regular Panther turret on here, which is pretty legit. And then you also get the Weird War Rift Tech style, Streckenwolf projector. So it's like a gravity cannon, basically. Pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited to build this. And so for a scale, it's kind of cracked me up. I want to show you guys this. So here's a Panther X, right? Here is a Type 97 Chiha. And you may think like they're from 2 different companies. No, that's just how small Japanese tanks were, you know? There's some other things to look at while I'm painting. You can see some of my recently finished on the last paint streams we had. There's our Ursus Bear. And you can see my old Scorpion Walker that I love. And you can see here's a battle frame Japanese heavy infantry. So just some other Konflikt 47 models to look at. And again, always at the bottom left corner, you're going to see different slideshow of models. If you see something that looks interesting, ask me. I'll let you know what information I have about it. So yeah, tonight I'm kind of going in on what I think is gonna be the most difficult thing. I'm working on the Anox and the Moon. Not making her, you know, perfect from the movies. I'm gonna give her kind of a gold bikini top, I guess. Gold accents. I'm gonna give her red flowing bottoms and robes and stuff like that, so she kind of matches the rest of the red colored army. My first time ever painting a model like this. Yeah, I do a lot of D&D, but I don't really paint any of the female models. So this is kind of interesting. She's definitely well endowed with charm and wit. So I'm kind of remember that line from the Pearl Harbor movie where he's sitting there doing pin art on the side of the plane. He's like, why are you drawing? He's like, don't draw that on my aircraft. If you are, don't draw lopsided titties on my aircraft. This is another debate whether they're lopsided or not. Kind of cracks me up. Hey, Baron, what's going on, buddy? Afternoon where you are. All right, all right. Yeah, I'm working on my my kit bashed a Cult of Imhotep Konflikt 47 army. Like I said, it's 500 points. It'll be perfect for a little demo army to match my Japanese. And right now I'm painting my little belly dancer on Ox and the Moon, second lieutenant. So what are you up to this afternoon, Baron? Ooh, that sounds awesome. Nice. Wow, you're sculpting that. That's seriously impressive. That's definitely beyond my my modeling skill set. I can kit bash, but not always that pretty. That sounds difficult, man. Best of luck. Trying. I mean, sometimes that's all you can do. It's funny. I'm painting red right now, but I've already blessed this construction when I was trying to clear off some of the resin on this turret. Definitely sliced the old thumb open, and so Corn has been satisfied for this build, which is hilarious because I'm working for Trooping the Colors for Mordian's channel. I'm actually painting for the Renegades and Heretics. It's like, oh, this is rather appropriate, you know. I figured I was going to slice my thumb and bleed at some point. Well, I appreciate you you logging in and modeling and painting with me. How's your campaign going, Slay Your Grave? Yeah, Icon Bear is probably one of my favorite models to do. I don't know if you saw the one I did for my recent Renegades that swapped over to Red Corsairs. But because they're pirates, I literally just took some skull and bones from another model kit. I think it's from the Frostgrave Wizard kit, which I used to build this guy, like the head cultist. But there's a skull and a bunch of other bones, so I literally made a skull and crossbones on his shoulder. I was like, there you go, that's your icon. Very piratey. Howdy, howdy, man. Welcome to the stream. What's getting painted is I'm building a 500-point Konflikt 47 army to run a demo game. I usually main my my Japanese. You know, like here's my Chiha and my Scorpions over here. But I know Germans are super popular. But I ran into a dilemma where, you know, I don't want to go to my local friendly gaming store in, what year is it, 2024? And show up with a whole bunch of, like, Germans. You know, because I don't want, like, some soccer mom dropping off her kid to freak out and be like, ah, crooked windmill people. So, I was like, how can I make Germans without actually making Germans? So because it's Konflikt 47, I actually made these as Cult of Imhotep from the Mummy movies. So these are basically just, these are just cultists that are using the German rules. You know, so they have German weaponry and stuff like that. And, it's safe, you know, no one's gonna walk in and see that and take a picture and put it on Twitter and be like, oh my god, he wants Germans from the 1940s kind of thing. So, what I'm working on is a themed army from the Mummies movies, the Cult of Imhotep. So, right now I'm painting my second lieutenant, Anaxina Moon. She has an adjutant, and then there's a 10-man squad with a machine gun, Panzerfaust. There's 6 mummies, and then this right here is a Panther X with a Shrekwo projector or a gravity cannon. Yeah, that's exactly the symbol I'm thinking about replacing. You know, but I'm like, you know what? Let me be completely safe, and because it's Konflikt 47 and alternate history, I was like, let me just go full Indiana Jones style pulp. You know, just make like a, you know, possible mystical, magical, you know, like Egyptian themed army. You know, like that. That just sounds super pulp. You know, I'm gonna go with that. Seems safe. Yeah, kind of. I'm testing out this camera I have, seeing how I like it. You know, trying to get better and better with each stream on kind of how I want to show this. So I constantly like change the angles and stuff like that. Still trying to find the best way to do it. Pretty new to this myself, but yeah, I kind of do want to show off the Panther X. I know it's, you know, people like German tanks, but you know, it doesn't necessarily focus on with what I'm painting. But I'm just trying, you know, testing out new things. But I appreciate the feedback. Thank you. I don't really get a camera that can zoom in because my painting skills aren't really there. Uh, I can't do the 3-foot pretty style painting style, you know, where it looks decent from 3 feet away and it's tabletop ready. But I'm doing these streams to try and slay my pile of gray, you know, and that pile of shame. That's the main objective here, and also to chat and answer any questions people have about Konflikt 47. I think it's an awesome skill set, rule set. Everyone's excited for the new version of Bolt Action 3 that's coming out, but I'm still happy with Konflikt 47. I don't really want to swap. Yeah, I actually had another buddy of mine, Weird War. I don't know if you come across his stuff. He's always telling me about Dust and compared to Konflikt 47. I never tried Dust. Like I said, I originally I did Battlefield Gothic first way back in 07. That got me to Warhammer 40k. I played Warhammer 40k probably the end of 6th, all through 7th, a little bit of 8th. I left when the lore got weird. Did a lot more Dungeons and Dragons, more narrative, because I was always looking for narrative style play. And from there, I did like Fallout and some other stuff, and then I wanted to get into Bolt Action and Konflikt 47, so I did Bolt Action first, and now I kind of mostly do Konflikt 47. I enjoy it. It felt like the good parts of Warhammer 40k. You know, like the gameplay. The gameplay is good. It just feels comfortable. It's kind of a weird thing to say, I guess. It's the randomness of the bag. You know, when you pull your die out of the bag, that's nice. It's also the way weapons work like they should. Like a mortar looks like a mortar should. You can drop smoke rounds. You know, close combat works in a very good way. I think mostly I enjoy that the turns alternate. I don't have to sit there for 2 hours on a day off and watch someone blow my army off the table before I even get a turn. So I think that's what really sold me on bolt action and Konflikt 47. But I'm also a big fan of pulp stuff. Like when I build my Firefly infantry for the U.S., they're jetpack infantry. I'm gonna theme them all off the Rocketeer from the awesome comics and movie. So overall, I'm a huge pulp fan. So when I do my Paragon squad, which is basically like a whole bunch of Captain America super soldiers, they're gonna be all sorts of old comic book heroes. So you're gonna have like the Shadow. You're gonna have who else? The Phantom, Dick Tracy, stuff like that. Should be a lot of fun. So, talk to me about Dust. You said Germany, like, what's the lore? You said Germany's no longer the same, the government's changed, I'm assuming the symbol has changed so they can get away with that. Like, what's the whole story? Why'd they swap to vertical tanks or walkers? Like, what's the big, I guess, big catalyst for that lore? Okay. Yeah, I prefer narrative games a lot more. I'm not a big competitive guy. The whole win at all costs is what tore me away from Warhammer 40k a lot. So I prefer narrative games myself. I think I've seen a weird war played a little bit, but it's almost like Dust. Maybe it's a different type of Dust, like it's a subset of it, but it was like a board game. It's like all self-contained. It seemed kind of cool. Hey, speak of the dough, we were just talking about you, buddy. I was telling a nerd's nerd here. He was talking to me about Dust. I was like, I know a guy who talks about Dust. I was telling him about some of the streams I've seen of you playing Dust, and it looks like it pops into a board game. I appreciate you popping in, man. Hope you get some rest. Ooh. Yeah, see, I think you know what? That's what it was. I think it's the scale that got me. That might have been why I didn't do dust. I like the 156 and the 28mm style scale because, again, I'm not a very talented painter, but I love kit bashing. I said all these guys are all kit bashed. You know, these definitely are not Warlord models. Like I said, books, Stig 44s. You know, the guy's got a fez. Even stuff like this. You know, you can see the MG42, we can also see the pistols and like the hat and the gear. I mean, this is from like 4 or 5 different boxes. So I kit bash a lot, but that's why I like a scale where everything kind of works. Nice, yeah, no, he's great. Honestly, we always kind of pop into each other's videos every now and then, especially in the comment section. He's always a good dude. He's always been super supportive. Like I said, trying to build that weird war thing. You know, we've talked about movies and stuff like that. It's always a lot of fun. Yeah, he's a great dude. Those guys will always comment on your video, which I kind of like. I do, so the main purpose of this video definitely is not my painting skills. It's actually the lore for Konflikt 47. So I actually have a couple lore videos out there, and he always comments on them, which I appreciate. I'm not gonna lie, I work pretty hard on those lore videos. Like, they take a long time to do. And, I work a lot, including a lot of overtime, so YouTube is just on the side for fun. So I get around to it when I get around to it, so those videos will take me a long time to make. Oh, you 3D print models for Dust? Oh, that's gotta be awesome. Let me ask you, you remember, because I'm about to use some cutscene footage from it. You remember a video game? I want to say it was, wasn't Mecha Assault? Oh, it was Steel Battalion. But not the old Steel Battalion. They came with like that massive $300, like 300 button controller. But they came out with one for the Kinect, which was kind of lame, like the Kinect system was. But it was called like Heavy Assault or something, but it was a really cool, like alternate World War II style mech combat. And those vertical tanks, I'm going to be using a lot of footage from that. And I know a lot of people took those types of vertical tanks and they 3D print those for like Warhammer 40k or for Dust. So I know a lot of people use those who 3D print for like a template. So usually I paint a lot of horde armies. Like I have a whole bunch of Japanese infantry that I build and paint. So usually what I do is I'll build like one template that I want, you know, and then I just do batch painting. Like I'll paint 5 people at a time, like, and I'll do one color. So it's like everyone's getting their leather pouches, then everyone's getting like their silver on their weapon, on their blades, and they're getting all their dark green helmets. So right now I'm working on her. Just gonna try to figure out what I want this army to look like. And then I'll probably do the mummies, and then I'll probably make a template out of these cultists. And then tomorrow I'll probably batch paint the cultists. If you're comfortable with it, a nerd's nerd, feel free to drop your drop like a link or any kind of info you had to like your Etsy site or whatever you use, and especially if you do Conflict 47 stuff, or anything that's like 28 millimeter, then I'll definitely put it. I mean, I don't have that many subscribers, so it's not that much, but I'm happily to put it all in my videos. Like you said, like Weird War, you know, we all got to stick together. So yeah, if you send that to me, if you put it in the chat there, or my name's the same on Discord, either or, yeah, I'll put that in my my videos, and I'll point people towards it. And if you have Conflict 47 stuff, I'll definitely purchase from there myself. Oh, okay. You do the oh, so you're putting out the STL, the templates. I got you. All right. Yeah, I tried 3D printing. Like, I 3D print terrain here and there, but as far as like actual models, I get why people do it, and I definitely purchase stuff from Etsy. People who do 3D print, but I prefer just to do bit and kit bashing. I understand the point of 3D printing. And I think it's impressive. It's just not something I think I'm gonna do, you know. But I'm impressed with people who do. I'm glad they do, because that's where I get a lot of my bits. Thanks for posting the info, man. I'll pass it on. Anyone I see who comes across dust, I'll let them know. It's awesome that you do that. Well, you mean I can't just like have the 3D printer going on in my kitchen, and then when I need to pick me up, just dump in some of that liquid resin right into my coffee and drink it? That's it's not a good idea, you know. Oh man, I forgot it's a recorded video. So for legal purposes, that was a joke. Please don't drink your resin. For the love of all that is holy. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that. You're like, not recommended. It builds character. It'll be fine. You know, like 3 weeks later, some litigious lawsuit land. Like, how'd they even find me? But like I said, I do respect those who do 3D print. The one thing I did 3D print, another game I play, a tabletop game I love, and actually I taught my wife, and she kicks my ass in it all the time, is Gaslands. Gaslands is a lot of fun. I think it's the cheapest tabletop war game to get into. It's also probably one of the easier ones, so it's always a good one to teach your kids, stuff like that. But 3D printing all the bits for that, because all you do is just get everything's Hot Wheel scale. So you just get a Hot Wheel car, and you 3D print some machine. It's like a mixture of Twisted Metal and Mad Max, stuff like that. So you just 3D print stuff like that, glue it to your Hot Wheels car, and paint it. Super easy. Oh, do it. Honestly, man, just go to like Target or Walmart. Ironically, Target's better. for this, and just go to Hot Wheels and just get like 1 or 2 cars, and you're good. Like I said, it's stupid easy to get into. The dice, you can get the actual dice that have the skid stuff, or there's a dice table in the book. All you need is the book by Osprey Games. It's like one of those blue cover books, so it's like a tabletop RPG book that's like $15, and a couple Matchbox or Hot Wheels cars, and that's it, man. There's no WYSIWYG, so you don't have to put stuff on your cars, but it is fun to do that. I have a whole bunch of like themed racing teams. Oh man, it's a lot of fun. They rip from every single IP you can think of, from Death Race to Twist. Oh yeah, dude, everything in there is a nod to somewhere else, man. It's hilarious. So Gaslands has a mechanic that one of my favorite mechanics from Bolt Action, and it's, kind of one of the drama things I'm hearing about. I'm hearing 3rd edition Bolt Action, they're kind of leaning more towards Warhammer 40k. I feel like they're making it a little bit more casual. I'm not trying to say like, oh, off at the casual. It's nothing like that. I like the difficulty of Bolt Action, because one of the things I like is there's no pre-measuring. Going back to Gaslands, is you have certain templates you can do based upon what gear you're in, which is like what speed. So if you're going super fast in 5th gear, and you try and make a turn, there's a chance you could wipe and spin out, It's kind of hard to turn when you're going fast, so you can pick up your template, but once you pick up your move template, that's the one you have to use. So you can't pick up other templates and pre-measure and stuff like that, no. Because that kind of does the whole dashboard view. Like, if you're a driver and you have to kind of like eyeball a turn, you got to figure it out. I like games that have that. That's one thing that kind of bugs me about other games. Everything from Dungeons & Dragons or Warhammer 40k, I hate pre-measuring, I'm like, nah, you need to go ahead and try and go with it, and get a good feel for it. So, same thing with Bolt Action. I like that there is no pre-measuring. Huge fan of that. I hope they don't change that. Yeah, I hear good things about X-Wing. But yeah, from what you're telling me about X-Wing, yeah, Gaslands is extremely similar as far as the whole movement mechanic. I mean, I say good things, but I know X-Wing just lost its official support, which I can't believe. That's crazy. Can't believe they're cutting off support for it. I heard it was a good game. What? I didn't know they axed Armada. I said I'm a Battlefield Gothic fan. That's where I cut my teeth way back in the day. Oh, I didn't know they axed Armada. That really is a heartbreak. Damn. Oh, that is rough. Yeah, X-Wing seems, especially during the lockdowns, I figured it would do well, because everything was already pre-painted, and you got to build out your team. You had certain things. It seemed like a very approachable, good tabletop game. And I just watched the video. I can't remember it, so I won't try and guess the name. But it was bringing up a really good point, and I'm kind of biased on this topic myself. But I was talking about how tabletop wargaming and how it's shifting more towards board games, and board games are shifting more towards tabletop wargame, and it's kind of hard to tell the difference between the two. Talking about competitive tabletop wargaming versus narrative-based tabletop wargaming, and where the board games fit in. It's kind of an interesting topic, but that's one thing I liked about X-Wings. It seemed like it was very approachable. Like the starter sets were legit. A couple X-Wings, a couple TIE Fighters. Like, that's awesome. Yeah, I like games that are like that. As I show up for Conflict 47, that's one of the reasons why I liked it. As a starter set, I mean, it's still like over $100. You're paying like $120 with no paint, so it's kind of rough. But you do get a miniature rulebook, you get all your dice and all that kind of stuff. The cool thing I liked about Conflict 47 is, especially depending upon the nation too. I lucked out. I like Japan, so all the models you get, there's some Weird War stuff, like the Scorpion Light Walker, But like, I got this tank in the set, but I could take off the Weird War compression turret and put on a regular tank turret, and I can use it in a bolt action game. Same thing with the infantry. I mean, you know, Imperial Japanese soldier with a Type 38 rifle. It doesn't change. I can use that in bolt action or Conflict 47. So I like games that give me good value. And what got me is, unlike Games Workshop, where they hide a lot of the special weapons behind like a paywall, like a special blister set. You pull open an infantry set for any bolt action or Conflict 47 game, you got all the weapons on there. Like on a regular infantry sprue, I got the machine guns, I got the light mortars, I got the katanas, I got SMGs. I can build whatever I need. I like games that give you value like that. It's nice. That's why I thought X-Wing and Armada looked cool. I mean, it's great value. You have everything you need right there. Yeah, I agree, and pretty big fan of history and historical stuff. That's why I like doing my lore videos, the Konflikt 47 lore videos, because it's kind of cool to see like where battles could have changed. You know, I always think that's kind of cool, and I like historical wargaming. And most people, like I said, most people I've played, I've had a good time. But there's always that 10%. You know, the rivet counters. Like I had one person, great example. So I call this my patented. I had to come up with a term for it, so I call it my vineyard camo. So it's super thin, like tiger stripes. But one guy's like, and I told him like, hey, this is mostly my Konflikt 47 army, so the camo is not historical, but you know, if you're cool that we can play. And one guy's like, I don't think Japan ever used that kind of camo. So I had to pull up a picture of an A6M, a Japanese Zero, you know, long range carrier fighter, and it had that exact paint scheme. You know, these very thin little green lines, because you just put like vines over it and it's gone. You know, so I showed him. I was like, it was a real camo, it just wasn't used on tanks. So most people are chill, and they're like, yeah, I get it, but, you know, you are going to run into those people with historical wargaming who are like, technically those pants should be blue, you know? Meh. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like what you're saying makes sense. If you already had those scale, then that's the scale to get into. That 100% makes sense. And I think most people, especially beginning, are looking for value. It has to be a good trade-off between time spent building, time spent painting, time spent like theory hammering, like building lists, thinking up tactics, time enjoying on the tabletop, and that all has to be relative to the actual money and time you spent getting ready. So I think if any one of those things is off, I think that's what affects wargaming. Yeah, I have one of my own hobby dramas. Um, so in Bolt Action, a lot of people like to play Japanese because there's a unit, and a lot of people will cheese it. I'm not a wacka. I'm not a win at all cost person. I like to show there. I work hard, so on my days off, I like to have fun. So some people in Japanese take a lot of bamboo spear fighters. They're super cheap, and they're straight up dangerous in close combat. Okay, very rarely in history did Japan use just straight up bamboo fighters, so it's mostly back on the home island, but it's neither here nor there, right? But I had one guy literally ask when I said I was playing Japan, he's like, well, you better not be taking bamboo spear fighters. And I'm a grown-ass man. I'm north of 30, and definitely still is this guy. And I looked at him, I was like, I'm sorry, what? He's like, yeah, you better not, he's like, you better not be cheesing and taking bamboo spear fighters. Like, well, first off, it completely changed my mood for that day. I was like, in my army book, it is a legitimate unit that I can take. So if I want to pay money and build bamboo fighters to run them, I will. I personally don't, but I'm not going to be told what I can and can't take outside of a tournament, you know? Just because of what you remember from history. It set that game went downhill from there. It set a really bad tone. I don't know. That guy wasn't the nicest. Maybe he was having a bad day. But I could have been nicer, but from that moment on, you know, super chill Tiki, I was like, all right, you know, if you're going to be like that, let's see how the game goes. But that annoyed me, yeah. Because certain people will take different theater selectors so they can sneak in, like, special units that never would have worked together, you know, so that's kind of weird. You know, like, they'll mix, like, I see it a lot in Germany, too. They'll mix a lot of units that never really were together ever. I don't say anything because I don't care. You know, I stick to my Army Nation book. But some people get really upset. With Japan, It's early, mid, late. I mean, very rarely do you have any change. I mean, it's generally the same units. But some people will mix late war and early war stuff, and I personally don't care as long as it's just from one book. I don't like the people who grab different theater and campaign books and mix units. But at the same point in time, I'm chill. I don't want anyone to tell me what I can and can't take outside of a tournament. This is supposed to be just for like a chill game, and I was like, I don't know. It definitely struck me the wrong way. They're like, well, historically, there weren't very many of them. I was like, yeah, historically, I had a Type 92 tankette. It's like, historically, Type 92 tankettes were only used in China. You know, I was like, and here we are fighting in, I think, with Palau Palau at the time. I was like, so that wouldn't have happened, but who cares, you know? Yeah, so you're right. To me, that was the bolt action event. Like, I couldn't find any Conflict 47 people, so I just showed up and I'm like, hey, I'll bring some Conflict 47 stuff after this, because it was a meetup. There's a tournament coming next week, and so a lot of people were just getting practice games in before the tournament next week. So I was like, oh, well, if anyone, you know, doesn't have a partner, or if anyone wants to stay after, you know, I brought some Conflict 47 stuff. If you guys want to try it. There was this guy sitting off on his loan, and no one would play with him. That should have been my first red flag. But I approached him. I was like, well, you know, I'll play. You know, I don't mind. I drove all the way out here, and that guy was just, I'm talking every red flag. It looked like Beijing. So many red flags. I mean, everything you could think of, from fast rolling, you know, rolling behind cover, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, hey, can we use the dice tray? He's like, no, it's fine. He'll roll behind cover and then pick it up. He's like, yeah, I got 2 6s. I was like, well, can I see them before you pick it up? He's like, what, you don't trust me? And I was like, no, not after this game. I don't. But yeah, it was not an enjoyable experience. But that's like one of 10 bolt action games I played. So as I said, about 10%, you'll run into those guys, about 10% out there. But it was my fault. I noticed nobody else was playing them, so I should have noticed. That one's on me. Yeah, that ratio compared to my Warhammer 40k games, whoo, those numbers change. But yeah, it only brought 500 points. You know, like, it was a small little group like this, because it was just supposed to be like for demo games. I was like, well, I got 500 points of Japanese. Like, I could put together 500 points of Marines. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, you can play any armor. He's like, no, Marines fight Japanese. It's like, oh, okay, it's gonna be like that. All right, cool. And I was like, do you want to see my list? He's like, no, I don't need to see your list. I was like, all right, buddy. So he brought a whole bunch of like infantry. They were all veterans, Marines. There's more automatic weaponry in those like squads than probably most of Oakland. Like, everybody had SMGs and BARs. They were all veterans. I brought kind of a balanced force. So I had an officer with an adjutant. They had SMGs. I had a light mortar team. I had 2 10-man squads, mixture of SMGs and a light machine gun, maybe. Whole bunch of rifles. And what killed him is I brought this tank. But I didn't bring the light compression cannon, I brought a regular cannon. But he didn't bring any anti-tank, because that's only 500 points. And usually most nations can't, you know, look how big the Panther is, you know, you can't bring a tank like that in a 500 point game. So I was able to bring in one of my little tanks. And all I did was just spin the turret around and just zoom around with, I just zoomed around with two machine guns. So I drove around with like a 7-up armored tank that he couldn't crack because he didn't bring any AT. I offered to show him my list. He said no. So I drove around with 2 machine guns, just started absolutely body and cladding the living shit out of his troops. Oh, yeah. Oh, he was pissed. Yeah, because these tanks are, you know, up against another tank. Well, you have to understand, again, you say you like history. Historically, Japanese tanks weren't meant to fight tanks. They were just infantry support vehicles. You know, you're much better off building anti-tank guns and putting them in a defensive position to knock out allied tanks. So a lot of people take Japanese tanks to try and fight American tanks or German tanks. You're gonna lose, like, not 10 out of 10 times. That's not what they're for. You're better off grabbing one guy with a bamboo pole and an anti-tank mine. That's our anti-tank weapon, is our suicide bombers. But, you use these tanks correctly. If you use them fast and sneaky to harass infantry, oh, it pisses people off. Because they don't want to spend the firepower and the time to destroy this light tank, but they also can't ignore it because it's machine gunning their back line. So it's like this threat bubble that they have to deal with, and it just annoys people. And I absolutely love it. I'm a huge fan of light tanks. That's why I knew I was going to play the Japanese or Italians. Yeah, I was talking about that in another video. Everyone's talking about Sherman tanks. Like, you realize, like, a jumbo Sherman in the Pacific was like running into a Tiger. You know, much less an M3 Lee or Grant. That's like a mobile castle just rolling through Fern Gully, just deleting people left and right. I use what I call my dynamic duo. I have a cheap tank, you know, usually a Type 97 because it's got a little bit extra more armor than the Hago, the 95. The Hago is my favorite tank of all time. I have pictures of me standing next to one. I literally take trips to go find these Hago tanks, take pictures with my little Hago. But I run like a Type 97 on one side, then I'll run my Type 92 tankette. It's technically a tank, but because of politics, the cavalry was not allowed to have tanks, only the army could. And it's a female tank, so it only has machine guns. So technically it's a tankette, you take in your armored car spot instead of a tank spot. And so what it is, it's a small armored tankette, but it runs a heavy machine gun in the bow and a medium machine gun on a 360 turret. So I run, you know, one tank around the side, I run the tankette on the other flank, and I just run my infantry down the middle, and it's just absolute shenanigans. It just kind of forces the opponent to make a choice, hoping that they'll choose incorrectly, because they have to deal with a threat. Sometimes it works, sometimes I get absolutely obliterated, but that's kind of the fun of it. I think that's important for wargaming. Never be afraid to lose. As long as you have fun doing it, I said there's nothing wrong with losing. Yeah, man, same here. Yeah, it was actually a really good chat. Yeah, I stream. It's a really weird time. That way I don't take time away from any of my other buddies who are streamers. But I stream from about 2 to 4 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. So I kind of try and run it like Toonami, where I'm up super late at night or early, depending where you are in the world. And, I'm always be here on Saturdays and Sundays. So, if you have to be awake, swing in, chit chat. If not, hey, man, no worries about it. But it's awesome to chat with you, man. I'm sad about X-Wing, but I'm glad I got to learn some stuff. I'll definitely look up Dust, man. Take it easy. Have a good night, brother. So far, not a bad hour and a half of painting. Found a pretty good contrast paint for these mummies. I'll definitely probably do something different for their bones and do something different for their eyes. But Nox and a Moon, not a very good painter, but she's mostly done. She's a pain in the ass, you know, that metal chain bikini. I think the model I got is an old D&D model, so it's basically like evil Jasmine from Aladdin, you know, but I figured like, if I put a gun in her hand, it'll count, you know, it'll look kind of like a Nox and a Moon. No, not at all, actually. It was a pain in the ass to paint, but it's done. That's what matters. Let me knock out these mummies. Alright, so that was just a very fast wash of Argoso Dunes. And I think I'll probably hit their hands and face and some other stuff with Skeleton Horde. You know? But let's take a look at one zombie that's just been given some Zandari Dust, you know, flat primer. There we go. Already kind of popping a little bit, you know? But yeah, I'm trying to just go over these guys pretty quick. I just want to try and finish all the mummies. But then it's 2 hours. Hit them with this contrast Argoso Dunes. It's definitely making them kind of wet and gross looking. Like I said, then I think I'm gonna kind of hit the faces and expose bones and flesh with another color, and then definitely give them something in the eyes, you know, maybe some blood on the hands, and then that'll give me the 3 colors. And I think with the base it'll look all right. All right, man. Hey, Baron, thanks for sticking around, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully you got some of your Iron Warriors knocked out. But it's always nice to see you in the chat, man. I appreciate it. You know, I'll definitely catch you in MG stream sometime. Thanks, brother. All right, coming into the home stretch. 15 minutes left. We don't have time to knock out both these mummies. They've been waiting around probably thousands of years in a tomb, so yeah, I think I do. I wouldn't want to keep waiting any longer. Well, all right, there we go. For those of you who join me, I appreciate you guys showing up. I appreciate people chatting and talking back and forth. Hopefully it was a good time. Like I said, the main part of my YouTube channel is my Konflikt 47 lore videos. So if you haven't checked those out, go check them out. They're fun. They're a lot of work, but, you know, let me know what you think of them. I enjoy doing them, but they do take a little bit. This live stream, like I said, guys, it's just for fun. It's just to be here for you, in case you guys are up too late or too early. You know, it's always something you kind of check into. You know, drop a few words, maybe bust out some models of your own. You know, hey, that's what it's here for. Me, mostly, it's just to catch up on all these models. So not bad. We got our Nox and a Moon, like most of her done. You know, gold bikini, you know, red uniform, her leather ammo pouch, and her stick 44 is all painted and done. And we got all 6 mummies started, at least started. So not bad, not bad. Pretty good for 2-hour stream. I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, she's a pain. Metal model. She's definitely a a work in progress, but you know, I'll get her finalized. And for the basing, sand is like using real sand, even with the spray. Adhesive, it's just not fun. I'm gonna try this Armageddon dust. I love texture paints from Citadel. They're expensive, but I think they're kind of fun. So pop this bad. Ooh, look at that, one-handed. Someone clearly dated in high school. So yeah, if you take a look at that, that actually looks like it's gonna be kind of fun to use for a base. Alright, well, I apparently bought this a long time ago, for texture paint, even this one's kind of dried out. This is literally just basically sand, so I'm not sure how this is going to work, but we'll try it. Yeesh. Man, I was really excited for this. Let's get a little on the base, see what it kind of looks like. Ooh, I don't know, team. Alright, yeah, I think that paint will be done for. We'll see. It's kind of a hard break, but it's alright. It's alright. We'll rally. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see what's going on. Oh, an easy day at work. I may work on some of these. I probably won't work on these guys. So I'll save it for the stream, but I'll probably work on some of my... Oh, my poor neglected Japanese. Man, they're always... Look at these poor guys. They're always over here with the wings waiting to be finished. You know, I have so many built, so many to paint, so many Japanese. But, hey. There's always something to paint. It's kind of nice. The big takeaway from the stream was talking about narrative play and how Win at All Cost players have kind of ruined it, and how we're starting to see tabletop wargaming kind of shift over to board games. Board games shift to tabletop war games. So I was thinking, if I wanted it perfectly fair and symmetrical on both sides, I'd play chess, you know, or I'd play a board game. Ultimately, where I land on it, I don't think anyone asked, but I'll go ahead and say, if you've ever played good D&D, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have played D&D, and we've all seen bad D&D, and trust me, no D&D is better than bad D&D. If you've ever had a good game of D&D, it takes a lot It takes a lot of social skills, a lot of performance. You got to put a lot into it, right? I feel that same thing goes into wargaming. That's why there's nothing wrong with super competitive wargaming where it's very symmetrical and very fair. There's nothing wrong with it. But I feel like the people who play that are the people who probably wouldn't play D&D, if that makes sense. Not a bad thing, but I think it's kind of a choice. They want as little social investment and interaction. They want to show up, crunch numbers, look at the table, see the matrix scroll by, know that if I move this piece here at this time, it does. I get all that. I do. But that's what I really like narrative wargaming. Because I feel like it takes the crunchy tactical side, but it also introduces the social side more than just competitive wargaming. And, you know, from the guy at Tacoma Open who put, I think it was Grass Gold in the truck with the art case, we're starting to see cheating, especially with the cameras, thank God. We're starting to see cheating become more and more prevalent, I guess, or provable now. So it's a lot more in the public zeitgeist. People are talking about it a lot more. And I think that's, I said a quote on a stream earlier, and I definitely want to end this stream with it. I don't want to sound negative. I'm super happy. I love wargaming. I love what I do. This is a blast. Painting these guys are awesome. When I build this 500-point demo army, it's going to be a lot stronger than my army, so I plan that this Panther is just going to roll me, like steamroll me. But what I feel is not all win-at-all cosplayers are cheaters, but every person who cheats at a tabletop war game is, by definition, a win-at-all cosplayer. Because they truly want to win at all costs, including cheating. I think that robs the other player, and more importantly themselves, of a lot of fun and narrative. But I'll leave you with that. Some not-so-wise words from a not-so-wise floating head. But as always, for those of you guys who are going to bed, I hope you get the sleep you need. For you guys waking up or going to work, you know, I hope you have a good day. You've definitely earned it. So don't forget to stay hydrated, stay safe, and don't forget to relax today. Sean, Tiki time.